cards, and you're like, all right, now I'm changing all these to dice. So you gather up all the counters, board wipe. And you're like, what the fuck? Can't drink a whiskey drink. Can't drink a vodka drink. Can't drink a lager drink. Can't drink a cider drink. Gout sings songs remind me of the swelling times. Gout sings songs that remind me of the painful times. Ooh, Lowery's gout, Adam's gout, everyone's gout. Gout knocked me down, can't get up again. Gout always keeps me down. Gout knocked me down. I suck at this. Can't get up again. Gout always going to keep me down. So I kind of switched those up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
written by Commander Gouts. Performed by Adam.
Terribly. That was very bad, but
rambled.
Yeah.
Rambled by Adam.
It's a tongue twister almost. I was trying to get the sound of it, and it was tough. But yeah.
This is Pissing the Night Away.
Yeah. Is that what it's actually called? No, it's Knocked Down.
Oh, is it Knocked
Down? Yeah, not
pissing. In quotations, it's Pissing the Night Away. Is it
Pissing the Night Away?
Yeah, I think so. Or parentheses, there's one of those. And then this is Chumbawamba.
Good job.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
It's Chumbawamba.
That sounded like just a marbles in my mouth right there.
The best part of this is the hashtag is smart enough for hashtags. Trombley tweeted out last week, not smart enough for hashtags, and that was pretty funny.
So mad. I mean, like, I'm all over the place on Commander Gouts. I don't know who it is. I got like 5 people that I think it could be.
Keep going back and forth, like, could be this person. Gonna figure this out.
It was Bill from Woodbury for about 2 days, and I'm like, no, it's not Bill from Woodbury. He's a nice guy. So
unlike Commander Gouts.
We thought it was Trombley, and then that went away. I was just thinking it was Jeremy, but then you can see some things, and it's not Jeremy.
Yeah, he's like it's not smart enough for hashtags either. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, kind of determined it a little bit that the wittiness towards us seems like it's somebody more that we might know.
Yeah, so
not saying that people aren't witty, but
might be
maybe number two. Hey, number two. It might be. I don't know. There's some pretty good songs, and
yeah, it has to be somebody that likes writing songs, and we don't. There's only a few people that have done that for us. Maybe it's the return of Aussie Nate, but I don't think so.
Can I tell you something?
What?
It's
Is it?
Yes, it is.
How did you? Knew it. I didn't. I just kind of figured it out thinking about it today.
So then I was trying to decide if I was going to tell you on the cast, and I was just like, well, I'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens.
You let me go for like a week and a half.
Yeah. Well, once you started actually narrowing it down, I was like, all right, I think it's about time. So
okay,
it is. Maybe I'll blank it out so people don't know. The rest of people don't know. But yeah. It's pretty good though. It makes sense because you worked it out. So you're like, it's a person that has written us songs. Who's written us songs? And we're talking about this precast, and you're like, this person. And then you're like, and they have to feel comfortable enough to like do digs with us. Like some people might feel a little hesitant to jab at us, not knowing us. And you're like, so it's got to be somebody we know. So you're your own little Sherlock Holmes there.
Is that? Yeah, thanks. Like, I'm pretty sure he was autistic, so I don't know if that's like an actual compliment or not.
Well, if you go by the BBC one, he was addicted to drugs and everything like that. So,
or Asperger's? Maybe he has Asperger's. I don't know.
Anyways, welcome CommanderSmiths.
You're the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
5 minutes in before we do our opener.
You almost got me because I was going for a drink of water.
A drink of water? Why are you drinking water, Commander Gouts?
Because I'm not the Commander Gouts.
That's what our new name is, because that's all we have is gout all the time. This is episode 140. And if that beginning tells you anything, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So 5 minutes in before we get to the title, we got a lot of other things we're going to go through. Like, for example, Stump the Smith Savant, Lowery. I'm going to try to... We're
just going to do that at the end, right?
You want it at the end? Or I was thinking doing it at the beginning. You want it at the end?
Oh, geez. How many people do we want to have, like, quit?
Well, it's a play at home thing. People can try to guess what card I'm going through, and they can see if they can get it at what clue number. So you have
Stump the Smith Savant. Jesus.
Yep. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clues to get it, and see if anybody can name this faster than you, the Smith Savant.
More than likely, it's going to happen.
I don't know.
And these are going to be mythics or rares, right?
Kind of.
I
forgot that.
It just can't be like totally irrelevant, like random ass commons that are.
We'll see.
I don't know every card. Yeah. So Adam's going to read.
I'm going to make them relevant cards. They're not going to be cards that you have never seen. I'll tell you that.
I've seen all the cards.
Yes,
but
and it's only one card. I'm only doing one card this week.
I'm going to try and guess the card.
Right, and it's just one card each week. I'm going to get one card. I'm going to try to find a unique one or something that'll stick out, and we'll go from there. So we'll see how that works, but people can play at home, see if they can get it before you do. All right, and then we have Fave 5 Commanders, so we're going to continue with our Fave 5s. We're finally finishing a segment idea.
This has been going for like a year.
Yeah. So we
got 2 more. I think I came up with 2 more, like favorite 5 annoying cards, so it's not really, it's an annoying 5.
The annoying Fave 5. And then the
most hated 5.
The saltiest Fallout 5.
Yeah, we can do that.
Salt 5. We both. Then we actually are going to touch on something that we started our cast with. We're jumping back to it. The reserve list cards. We're going to kind of pick out some cards. And it's funny because I was listening to Larry's list and my list, and there's a lot of cards that we had picked these before, and they did go up. Some of them went up further than when we picked them originally, and then some of them are just good like cards to pick up that eventually will go up. So we got 10 cards each. We're going to go through with that. We're also going to talk about a new league that we're going to be doing. I don't know if we want to talk about that with the Discord part or this on-air production meeting. I don't know if we want to discuss that at all. Just we don't need to go too in-depth with it.
Yeah, don't go too deep.
Yeah, we're just going to kind of talk about that. And then we have a new secret layer that just dropped. Well, not dropped. The preview just dropped today, Monday. That is going to be coming out in a couple weeks, beginning in November. So we got quite the list ahead of us. So I don't think we're going to do any like, what'd you do this week? Oh, wait, I do want to say one thing. 2 things.
What'd you do this week?
I met Guy, one of our listeners and people we play with, just happened to have the same time at the Como Zoo. We took the boys to the Como Zoo on Friday, and Guy was there. I was chatting with him. Oh, because I played Cockatrice with him, and I was like, yeah, I think he mentioned about going to the Como Zoo. I was like, oh yeah, we're doing that tomorrow. I was like, what? So am I. What time are you going? He said it was 2:30 and we were at 3. But his time frame was from 2:30 to 3. So they got there pretty much the same time. We met up. It was funny because I don't know what he looks like. He's like, my kid is in all orange from head to toe. And so I'm in the zoo, looking at the animals, and the boys are excited. And at the same time, I'm like looking around trying to find a kid all in orange, like a fucking old creepy guy, just like looking for orange kids. I'm like, do you see an orange kid, honey? Oh, that kid's. Oh no, he's not all orange. It's just a jacket.
Head to toe though.
But yeah, so then we met at the polar bear exhibit. That sounds kind of dirty, actually.
No, polar bears are a real animal. That's fine.
Yeah, but we were walking by, and he's like, just eye contact, just like, huh? And I was kind of doing it too. I was like, I think it's him. I don't know. He's like, hey. I'm like, hey, buddy. And
I know your voice.
It's so weird meeting people this day and age because I wanted to like shake his hand and like, I know you. I've been talking to you for months and months. And, with COVID stuff, there's no way I could go wash my hands or anything. So we just kind of were just like, hey, how's it going? Air high or handshake. We didn't really do that.
That's
but
much more.
No, we didn't do that.
At the polar bear.
Yeah.
Just air shake. It looks.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you trying to do?
I visually get to see you looking like you're air shaking, which is just.
I didn't think my camera was on. That's
right
my private time, Lowery. You're not supposed to see me air shake.
We are recording.
What happened with you this week? You kind of had something eventful happen.
Oh, it was my son's birthday. He is 3 years old now, and he's gonna beat me up here in the next year, I'm sure.
He's sure.
Huge. He's huge.
Freaking huge. So, what'd you guys do for his birthday?
Went to the in-laws and hung out, and then stayed out of the super cold. Right? It was cold. It was like 30 degrees.
Now we're getting snow.
Yeah, kind of snowed. We got him some costumes and some books and stuff like that.
Sweet.
So we're cool parents like that.
Well,
he gets to dress up as Elmo and watch Elmo.
That was pretty sweet. I enjoyed that picture that you posted to Discord. You also did little podcast stuff this week too.
Oh yeah, was that what you were
initially? And then I was like, oh yeah, your kid. I'll try not to sound like it. So yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Whoopsies.
So I ended up recording 2 episodes with CMD Tower last week.
Do you know when those will be airing?
They are going to be out. One of them is going to be simultaneously released with what on Tuesday right now. So if you're listening to this, just stop this and go right over to CMD.
Just leave our cast and go over there. Fuck this show. You can come back to it. Go over there and listen to Lowery.
And so that'll be the news portion that they do, like a skit. So they
I like how you're doing it like a question mark. Like there's a question mark at the end of your news.
So they have a new Action 4 News on CMD Tower. And that's with some good guys over there. And that's Tuesday. That's today. And then on Friday, we are doing their Brews and Builds. And that is with my revamped Naeth deck.
Nay.
Which was doing a lot better. And I learned a lot from when we did the Spotlight back in August. So it's 2 months, 20, 30 different cards, different play style. I'm a better deck at this point.
The one thing I'm a little disappointed with is that I wanted to hear Drunk Lowery, and you aren't drinking, so there wouldn't be a Drunk Lowery on that cast.
It's totally sober. I had a whole Nalgene of water. I had to pee. That was where I was at right there.
Okay, so that's all the big stuff. We still did all our fun time here, so we're 15 minutes in. All right, so maybe we jump into stuff. You guys can go to the Discord to support our show. $1 or more gets you into the Discord. $5 or more gets you the Proxy of the Week. The new thing that we are going to be starting, this is actually brought up from, I don't remember who. Do you remember who sent it? Was it Jaw or was it Guy? So Guy sent over the Rules Committee Discord, Commander Rules Committee. And I just happened to click on it and get in there. And the first thing I saw was them talking about, what did they call it? It's something, it's a league.
It could have been, no.
It's a boxing league or something they call it.
Might have been Jaw.
Yeah.
Now that you're saying it like this.
Yeah. So they have a boxing league and it kind of just triggered. I just saw the gist of it and I was like, oh, we should do that similar thing. So what we're actually going to be starting is anybody that is a patron can get in on this. And what we're going to be doing is starting a league with, and actually we're going to start with Commander Legends here. So you got about 3 weeks before that comes out, 2-3 weeks. And everybody's going to open up a box and you're going to build a 100-card commander deck and we're going to play games and there's a point system and all that. If you join the Discord, we have the whole list, the rules, all that stuff. But at the end, we'll probably do a 3-month period thing, and each month you get to open more packs to add to your deck. But at the end, there'll be prizes out for, I don't know how many down, but we'll definitely be giving out prizes. So it's basically free. I mean, you support us to get in on it, and then you're opening a box and playing with the deck. And that's kind of the big thing why I was excited about it was when I used to play Magic Online, the one thing I really liked about that was League on there. And that one was 60 card format. I think it was 60 or might have been 40. It's been so long since I played it. But each week you'd get to add more packs and battle it out and all that and play your deck. And I loved that. And the thing is when you and I open up boxes, a lot of times it's like, okay, here's the 5-6 cards that I'm using in decks or goes in my binder. And then the rest of this just goes into crap, or sits in other binders, where at least this, we can build a deck and play with it for 3 months of cards that you have opened. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We already have a bunch of people signed up. So if anybody joins now, if you're wanting to just join to do the Discord to do that, you can join. We're going to keep that open until basically the week that we start it, which, when did we figure out Commander Legends was, beginning of November?
November,
it was in the
20th.
20th. So we got like a month. So we got a month basically to jump in on that. The only stipulation is got to be a patron for the whole time that we're doing the league. But anyway, so that's the new thing. We're starting with our patrons and Discord and everything. But the free way to support the show is jump on YouTube. May have noticed last week, YouTube for some reason isn't getting, or podcast isn't getting uploaded to YouTube automatically anymore. So now I have to do it manually. So videos should be up now, up and running. Not actual videos, it's just our podcast. But now that we're actually doing that, since
they're not surprised.
Yeah. Well,
they're like, wait, you actually have video?
The thing is I have to transfer now our podcast into video form, and it's pretty easy. It doesn't take as long. But that's what I was texting with you last week. I was like, fuck, I'm already doing this. Let's just start doing video. So we'll get our sexy faces on there at some point.
Oh, okay. I'm ready for that.
Yeah. I like how you moved the camera when I started talking about it. You're like, all right.
All right, are we doing that now?
Yeah. It's just going to be your boobs the whole time. My eyes are up here, Lowery. So yeah, and that's YouTube. Check out Twitter, Proxy of the Week, news, all that fun stuff. And then direct message, shoot us an email at CommanderSmiths. All right, let's get to the actual episode. Do you want to let's do Stump the Smith right now. Okay. Stump, I'll get a cool opener for this since this is going to be a continuous bit. I'll get something here. I just didn't have time this time.
The great thing about this is it's probably going to be about 3 minutes of silence of me just making weird noises.
So, all right. So how I'm going to start it out, and we can switch these out. This is just their test run to see how this goes. I'm going to start. Your first clue is going to be the flavor text. Then your next clue is going to be the color of the card. Next clue will be what set it's from. Then we will jump into the type, and then casting cost, and then what the card does. And if you don't get it by what the card does, then I didn't do a good job of picking out a good enough card for you to guess. Then I lose.
No idea what that card is.
But I have a good feeling that you're gonna get this pretty quick. All right, so question or clue number 1. All right, so this is a flavor text. If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in mine arms. William Shakespeare, Measure for Measure.
Can I also break down guesses? Like this, I think is a black card.
Correct. So that gets you one. That's your next clue was going to be a color black card. Good job.
Is it from Throne of Eldraine?
Incorrect.
Okay.
We could do it that way too, where you get you get like 5 total guesses.
Well, I just like if I can.
Yeah,
if I have an idea and I'm going like, hey, maybe it's this one, and then maybe so it's a black card.
Black card.
Clearly, it's a creature.
Incorrect.
It's a Shakespeare quote.
If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in mine arms.
Oh, they don't use Shakespeare anymore, so this is definitely like an older card.
Correct. There is a big clue in the flavor text.
Oh, okay. Reread.
If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride and hug it in mine arms.
Bride, then, because you kind of put emphasis on that. You're gonna throw me off.
You want the next what set it's from?
It's not like Lost Soul, is it?
No.
Okay. Is that the next one?
That's the next one set.
Okay, set.
It's from Legends.
Oh.
And was reprinted in Time Shifted.
Legends, not a creature.
Not a creature. Black card.
Black. It's darkness?
You like that? You like that?
Good job. Darkness. That's what I said.
Okay.
In the flavor, it says darkness. If I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride. When I gave you that clue and then reread it, all the other times when I read it, I wrote, if I must die, I will encounter darkness as a bride. But then when I said that there was that in the flavor text, then I read right through it really quick because I was like, I'm going to give it away if I stop on darkness again. So yeah, the next thing I was going to say was instant casting cost was black, 1 black, and then I was going to tell you what it did. So if you guys don't know,
I think that went better than me, or what I thought I would.
Yeah, better than me. You only had 3 wrong guesses. I was keeping a tally of when you actually guessed wrong.
Okay,
so that's pretty good. I'm impressed. I wouldn't have
2. Was that 2 hints? Well, I mean, technically the
3.
time.
Well,
the time
you got
spiral one is what threw it in.
Yeah, you got. I like that you guessed the color. So if you know this from each time, and maybe we'll make a list. Always have flavor text, color, set, type, casting cost. If you guess those other things, I can tell you if you're correct.
Yeah, I'm down with that. So initially I was thinking it was that 3 black legendary creature from Throne of Eldraine, where like you get to tap and like sacrifice a creature, draw a card, lose a life.
Yep.
We can move on.
Yep. But I'm impressed you got that. Was that like that wasn't a rare or mythic? I forgot that we had talked about that. I was just trying to find something that you have played with this card.
I think if it's relevant, that's fine too.
Yeah. Because I know that you've played with this card recently, so it was, or we talked about it at some point. So, all right, so that was pretty sweet. Stump the magic. Stump the Smith Snob.
The Smith Savant.
Savant. I said snob. So it's off of that
Snob.
PA does that thing. Snob. And actually, I got to give a little kudos to my brother Joe, because he's the one I was talking with him, and he called and I was talking about the cast, and then he called again. He's like, because I think what had happened is I was describing a card to you, and then you were able to tell me what it was. It was that I'm going to do it again.
You're going to do it again.
The one that's as strong for how many cards are in the graveyard, and then you mill until you, when you cast something. What's that one again?
Consuming Aberration.
Yes. And so I think that's what triggered him to go, you should start quizzing Lowery. And I was like, yeah, he got that. That was part of our early on stories. And I was like, actually, that's not a bad idea. So, but that's the thing is people can play along at home. I'm wondering how fast other people got it. People are probably going to lie and be like, I got it off the first verse.
It's always easier when you're not under pressure.
Yeah. All right. So should we jump into Fave 5 Commanders, or do we want to do reserve list first?
Let's save reserve list. Let's move it into Fave 5 Commanders.
I was thinking of making a little sounder for that, but I'm like, we're kind of done with the Fave 5, so I'm going to spend all that work to just...
I have 6.
I was going to do...
I'll probably cut one somewhere here as we're going.
I have 2 honorable mentions. How about that?
I don't even know what I would want as a honorable mention.
You just love them so much. All right, well, why don't we start with me, since you did the... Since you were the Smith Savant that had to be stumped. Okay. I don't have these in any order, but I'm going to talk. My favorite right now that has made its resurgence is Yarak, is one of my favorite commanders.
Yeah, I can see that.
It has been
crazy,
winning the same consistent way 5 games in a row now that I've played it. Every single time when it goes off, it's just it ends up finishing the game with Craterhoof, which that's kind of one of the points that you're like, I stay away from cards that do that because you just keep ending the game that way. But it isn't ever like the cards in my hand. I have to really, one of the games I got down to like the last 30 cards in one turn. I had a mitt full of cards in my hand, but the way it goes off, it's just a lot of fun. And the other part that I like about it is I have it as a landfall theme. And so even if I get board wiped and that happens a ton, everybody gets board wipes throughout the games. I never feel like I'm behind. There's enough card draw going on. There's get enough land out that you can board wipe. If everybody gets board wiped, I feel like I can still come back pretty quick. And so that has been one of my favorites to play recently. And since the tweak, knock on wood, it hasn't lost since I added all the new cards into it. So pretty sweet. Wait. I deserve an good for you. That was kind of terrible.
Oh, good for you.
So
it's more like we need to go after you a little bit more.
I won't play that one for a while.
Well, that was where we were at when I played you against Yarak. That
was it Jaw? Yeah, Naeth. Yeah,
me, you, and Jaw.
Yeah,
me and him kind of went after you. We got you down to like 2.
Yeah, that was the closest I came to dying.
And then you just were able to stave us off, and like you got the 2, and then you just went off the next turn. I was like, this isn't worth even fucking playing. Yeah,
that's what happened this last week. I was playing Jaw and Guy, and actually Jaw had he had us one-shot killed, but I had a blocker and Guy didn't, and he had a flyer. And he went after me where he could have killed Guy, which actually turned out probably was... Well, no, because then Guy ended up killing him. But if butterfly effect, I think I still would have ended up having it because then I went off on my next turn. Guy wiped the board, but then within the next turn, boom, I went off again. That's what I was saying. Board wipes can destroy it, but I tend to draw so many cards with that deck. And there's enough land out there that if a board wipe happens, I come back pretty damn quick.
You're never running out.
Yeah. So, all right. What is your first fave 5?
I'm going to start off with old school. One of the first decks that I really enjoyed. Going to go with Riku of 2 Reflections.
Yeah, you like that deck. That was a pretty good one.
I've rebuilt it 2 or 3 times, and this, it's 2/2 for 5 in red, green, blue, and 2. But whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you can pay a red and a blue, and it copies that spell. And whenever you have a creature come into play, you can pay a green and a blue and copy that creature, make it a token. And it's probably in line with Yarak. It's a little bit more work where you're just like getting a ton of abilities and triggers. It's kind of like making 2 creatures, getting the 2 ETB triggers off of a Thrag Tusk or whatever. And so it was a lot of fun, and it's probably why I'm so towards the Calamax, which is like doubling instance. Like I think it brings me back to what Riku used to do, because I just remember being able, back when I was playing Riku, I was able to like double Primeval Titans and Primordial Yadas, and it was insane.
Yeah,
it was insane. I just went crazy.
Yeah, the doubling that Riku is pretty crazy. That deck has always. How did you redo it though? Did you just build it again, or would you?
So I rebuilt it to where it was very spell based and also land destruction based. So I didn't play you guys with it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember that. It would have given you a lot more shit with that one.
I played it with 2 of my tenants, and they had a buddy in from Australia. And their buddy from Australia was playing Poison Atraxa, and I was like, well, you're going to die.
You're my target.
Yep. That was back when I was really anti-poison. I'm still not a huge fan, but I wouldn't do that now. And after that, I was like, no, this deck was pretty mean. That was not fun. So And then I've rebuilt it just for myself for like ETB triggers and stuff. And I was just like, there's just better decks at this point. But Riku has a lot of good memories to it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you went with two different styles, because it does have the two different aspects to it. You know,
so
you can be on creature side or you can be on instant spell slinger side.
It just has a lot more flexibility, right? Like to whereas Calamax is just like, you're doing instants and this is what you're doing.
Right.
With Riku, you have that flexibility and a lot more decisions on deck building, but it is just more expensive. It's like you basically need everything to be like 5 and under at that point, because then it's going to be 7 at most, which is
with
a
the
lot
2 extra. Yeah,
and so it's probably too slow of a deck at this point, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, I will play. My next one will be off of the same set of one of my first decks that I built that I no longer have anymore. But it was Anamar. Soul of Elements was the deck that I would go to if I wasn't getting any wins. I know like you and Trombley would say it too, is like, you aren't getting enough wins, Adam's going to Anamar. So that would be the deck I'd switch it, because it just had the natural protection with protection from white and black. And then all it is just creature slinging, not spell slinging. You're creature slinging. You're just throwing your creatures out, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And then your stuff is that much cheaper, and you're starting to play him for free, and he keeps getting bigger. And that was like my first, it's one of my first commander decks. It's not my first, but it was my first like good one. I feel like out of that stayed the longest out of the early on commander. I just tore that one apart last year. I think after you built your Anamar deck, I was like, well, I don't ever play Anamar anymore, because then it was too straightforward. It was just like play creatures and play more creatures and play more creatures and win the game. Whereas I like to have a little bit of, there's different things going on now. My style of play is no longer that, but it just brings me back to the beginning of Magic, that this was my oh shit deck when I played this. People were, and there wasn't anything you could do. Like you can't really kill it unless you counter it, is really what you would get it. So that was,
and I swear every time you pulled that out, that Anamar deck out, I was playing.
You pulled that out.
Pulled it out. White or black deck. It could have been multi, but my removal was in whatever color Anamar had protection from.
Most of the time, I remember you just being like, all right, I can't kill this, guys. You guys have to kill this, because I am white and black and I can't touch this thing. And that's the thing, like that one, I just never had to worry about him as much. He still got hit, but a lot of times it was just like, all right, I play him. I don't have to worry about protecting him because he already has that naturally built in. Now I just got to play my creatures. And what's more fun in Magic than playing big, fat creatures that do insane things? I mean, that brings you back to you as a kid, big creature decks. That's what yours, big green creatures, was Lowery decks. And
you should have played Crawworm.
Yeah, that was
giant.
That was the ultimate big green
Thorn
creature.
Elemental.
Force of Nature. It's a terrible card now.
I never played with that.
I did. I used to think it was awesome. Same with Lord of the Pit. Remember that guy? He's not green, but they're just terrible cards.
They're not good.
All right, what's your number 2? Well, your second one.
Second one? Let's go with a newer one with this is actually kind of funny. I'm gonna go with Muldrotha, the Gravetide.
You know,
the color thing is kind of lining up for us too.
I almost wanted to put Muldrotha on mine because I like that commander. I just don't have it as a commander. So much so that it's in my Yarak deck, because I was like, why isn't this in here? Because I have stuff going to my graveyard all the time, and now I can play it back. Yeah, that's a freaking awesome deck. I like that one.
Muldrotha is everything I want in a commander, like my play style, how I built the deck. At least it's removal. It's like bringing stuff back from my graveyard, filling the graveyard.
Signature Lowery right there.
And like technically drawing cards, but
because you're playing
the
stuff.
Graveyard.
You're playing stuff out of the graveyard, which takes up your spell from your hand. So your hand just keeps getting bigger, and then you're like, well, I can't play anything from the graveyard. Now I'll play from my hand. There's a lot that goes on with that deck.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic card. It gets me all warm and fuzzy. And that's just it is a lot of how, because I mean there are certain ways that people like to play, and I've talked about like styles of play and how you like to play, and what I like to do is do a ton of stuff every turn as often as I can.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't oftentimes actually play big splashy spells. I more do a bunch of little stuff that add up to a bigger spell.
Right.
And I enjoy that more.
Yeah.
And I'm at least quick enough that it doesn't piss off too many people.
Yeah, you are pretty quick. I'd probably take twice as long.
Yeah, baby.
Mine goes
La-ti-da, going just
twice
brag.
as long. Oh, good for you. I'm not even on the right buttons. Damn it.
Oh, good for you.
No, it's weird with my son saying that. I think it's better to do the
Oh, good for you.
But it's funny that you say it that way. You play a lot of spells. A lot of times my turns are set up. Like, okay, playing this to set up to get to this, and my big plan happens all at once, where yours is like lots of things happening every turn. And I think maybe that's why the focus goes towards you a lot, because it's like Lowery's doing shit. He's drawing cards and dropping land. We need to kill him. You don't even know what's going on over here. I don't know. You're doing stuff. You just need to die.
It's part of it. Like just doing stuff is threatening to you guys. That's fine. You're weak.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into a style that I don't normally play, but I really like. This is my Anamar now, like the deck that I go to where I feel like is a high percentage of winning. But it's a lot of fun because it's very evasive, but it's Yuriko. So it's my newest, I think it's my newest deck that I have on this list. Yes. Besides my honorable mention. So Yuriko's just, the cool thing about that is Yuriko, no matter how many times it gets killed, you can still get it in for 2. So it's not like you don't ever have to worry about the commander attacks because you're ninjutsuing them in. So and what I also like is a style that I like to do is I like to get everybody at once. I don't like, that's why I didn't like my Phanex mill deck, because it's very focused on that person. You know, pick one person out, kill that person, then you move on to the next. Whereas Bruvac is a much better mill for me because I like to get everybody equally down, and that's just how we kind of play. We normally do it. Maybe that's not necessarily the right way, but that's the fun way to play. You keep everybody in the game for as long as possible, then you end the game all at once so no one's sitting for an hour.
Yeah. Yep.
Yuriko does that. You're going after the person that can't block Yuriko or whatever, but then it's hitting and you're setting your top. And that's the cool thing is there's a lot of draw. There's a lot of setting your top and stuff, which is really good in general, but I'm setting it to do damage and do brutal things, and it can end the game pretty damn quick. So it's a fun deck to play, and it isn't, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's not oppressive. So it allows everybody to do what they want to do. And I'm just playing my little stuff. I'm not like hurting anybody's stuff. I'm just playing and just dealing damage. And so I like decks that do that where everybody gets to play Magic.
And it's quick enough that like it is those like, hey, we got like an hour left. Right. You like pull it out and you're like, let's go. Yep. And I think the other thing, at least for me, I don't groan when it comes out like, shit, Yuriko again. It's more like, okay, this is let's get going. Yeah. And I like playing against Yuriko. I think it's a different, interesting deck because it, like you're saying, it's not oppressive. It's just getting the game over. It feels like I'm playing like Heartless Hedzuku, like the mono red, when he taps it halves everybody's life. Oh yeah, so it's like that's what it feels like. Time frame. All right, I got to kill everybody quicker because I don't have much time to live. Yeah, it's boom, boom, boom. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna fluff around and do it's like, okay, I got to do this, this, and this. How do I block Riku or any of these ninjas? Like sometimes you just can't. Yeah. Sometimes,
Unblockable does that.
Yeah. So I think I really like playing against that one personally.
Yeah. That's the sign of a fun deck is when you don't piss off the table. Like, you know, it may be fun for you, but if it's not fun for everybody else, that's why some of those, like what was the Rashmi deck was really fun for me to play, but no one else was having fun because I'm playing on your turn and your turn and your turn. That didn't make my list, but it's because I don't play it anymore because it sucked for everybody else. And when it sucks for everybody else, that's just not fun for me. So
I appreciate that.
All right. What's your your third one? I keep wanting to number these like these are our favorites. One? Yeah.
I'm going to go with Gahiji, the honored one. So it's two colorless, red, green, and white. Which one is that again? Why am I not remembering? It's whenever an opponent is attacked, those creatures get +2/+0.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this is another one I've rebuilt like 3 different times. And what it does is essentially, if I attack an opponent, all my creatures get +2/+0, and I try and focus on that. I've built it again where I'm playing hunted creatures, kind of like how I built my Marisi deck. Mm-hmm. And you give creatures, and you're hoping that they attack other players, and they always attack me. Doesn't always happen. So, but when they attack opponents, they get +2/+0. Now, you're just trying to speed the game up. And like I said, I think there's a couple different ways to build it, and I have really enjoyed playing with it.
Because you could build this as you're building an army and you're not even worried about what other people are doing, and you're just having them run through, or you're trying to I just don't think that works for you, because like you said, you give everybody, you're like, all right, I'm giving you a creature, just don't attack me. You get more damage if you go for them, and they're just like, nope, Lowery. It's like, damn it. The funny thing,
other people can have fun with hunted cards. It's just me that can't, and that's fine.
It's fine. Funny is currently we're both building the Walking Dead. You're building Glenn, I'm building Daryl, and one of the thoughts was of that deck to go, all right, I'm just gonna pump my opponent's stuff and try to entice them to attack other people. And I went back to it and I was like, nope. Lowery, it always backfires for Lowery. It's going to do it for me. I'm not going that route. So, but yeah, this, I do appreciate this one, because I actually always forget that you get 2/0, and then you are the one that chimes in like, oh, all those creatures are that much bigger that you're attacking that person. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Well, I definitely say it every time somebody attacks me too. I'm like, no,
if you go 2%,
your creatures get +2/+0. If you want, I'll try and give them first strike or something. What?
I will. Another thing I'll say is I played Edric that was like that, and it always backfired. I've never played a commander that does that anymore, because it just, I'm like, hey, if you attack other people, you get to draw cards. Why are you attacking me? Yeah,
it's because you have the most cards. It's a little bit like a Gisela player. It's like you put Gisela within 10 life before you focus anybody else.
For sure, right?
Because if you don't, you're just not going to get there.
Yeah. Okay. My fourth one.
Number 4.
I'm going to go with Mazzarek as I got a cool one for my last one, but Mazzarek.
I like Mazzarek.
Yeah. Mazzarek, I liked that ability so much that I kind of had 2 decks at one point that did the same thing. And Larry's like, those are both of the same fucking deck. So I had the Get Rod Monster deck and Mazzarek deck, and they're very similar. I think each of them had each other in their decks. So it was like they ended up starting out different, but by mid to late game, they ended up being a similar thing where you're sacking things and getting your stuff counters. Mazzarek was just more consistent because you're able to play fetches. When anybody sacrifices something, it does it. So if anybody else is doing fetches, your creatures, and you're just playing Scion tokens is the key to this deck. So you're playing a lot of things that are just little tokens, but if you're sacrificing those, they're getting bigger, and it also gives you mana. There's just a lot of synergy going with that deck, and it's a lot of fun. And actually, Get Rog Monster, I tore that deck apart, and he stayed in my Mazzarek deck. So that's my Mazzarek Gitrog deck. So that's just it's a fun deck. I played it last week, or when I had people over for the first time in a few years, and I was like, I like this deck. The one thing that is bad about it is I think I'm at 34 lands or 35 lands. So I need to add some lands.
And I think it's definitely, that one's more of an Adam deck in my opinion, because you have a lot of decisions that can happen there. And like you're going, okay, do I want to sacrifice this creature to give all of them +1/+0, or is there enough creatures that are being blocked that it doesn't matter? Am I able to alpha strike? Am I not? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
And so I think along with your like Grave Pact effects, that one's a hard deck to play against because you have a lot going on.
Yeah, that's I think those,
but it's,
I've had the typical Adam turns where it's to win the game, it's a 40-minute turn where I'm like, there's so much stuff. What do I sacrifice? How do I do this?
And that's it also has like the Cathar's Crusade effect too, where you're just like, okay, sacrifice thing, counter.
So it takes a long time.
Like, yeah, that's part of it too.
Yeah.
And then if you ever want to try and take something back,
you're like, wait, which ones did I put the shit?
Did I get all the way through? So that
or the best is when you have too many counters on your cards and you're like, all right, now I'm changing all these to dice. So you gather up all the counters and take them all off. And then you do all that, and then somebody goes board wipe. You're like, why the fuck did you just have me do all that shit? Just do it from the beginning instead of having me sacrifice everything and make it seem like I'm going to win. But no, it's a fun deck. Again, I like things that have the mana built into them, and those Scion tokens being able to sack them to get a bonus, but then also have mana to cast other bigger things. The other thing is it has tutors in it, which that needs to go, but I had tutors and it was...
Did you feel more powerful?
I'm all powerful. Yeah, it was... tutors are weird.
There's a difference.
It's really weird because then when I tutored every time, I was like, I'm just going to go get like... I feel like when I used to tutor, it would be like game winner, somebody's getting knocked out. This time when I tutored, I was like, I'm going to get something that gives me more mana and draw. Like nothing that was to win the game. It was just to get myself a better position that if the board gets wiped again, I'm not dead. So
that is interesting. And actually I'm tweaking Glenn right now, and I have like two equipment tutors in there. And I'm trying to switch them out though.
I mean,
one's Stoneforge Mystic and the other is like that
Stoneforge is built on though. I think. Did you do Idyllic Tutor? No, the what's the equipment one?
There's the one that we spec'd on.
Oh, it's the armor. Yeah, the armor.
Yeah, armory.
Yeah.
So those are the two that have ended up in there, and I'm like, I could just cut these and do draw spells. So I'm still playing around with that. We'll see.
All right. What's your number 4?
I don't know. Do we get to talk about all of them?
Well, I think we're just going to go honorable mention with the last ones. Because the thing is we are almost at an hour and we haven't even got specs. This is going to be a 2-hour podcast.
Okay. I'm going to go with Brea.
Yeah, that again, it's one that I was going through all the commanders. I just was scrolling through all the top commanders to see what would trigger instead of what was built. And I came across Brea and I was like, I don't have a Brea deck, but she's really good. And when Lowery plays Brea, it's really good. And I want to put this on my list, but I've never built a goddamn deck with her, so it didn't make sense.
I'm glad that I get to build the decks that you wish you could build.
No, Brea's amazing.
So my Brea deck, again, I don't try and go infinite at all. And it was more just like artifact recursion from the graveyard, along with blinking style effects to get multiple triggers off of that. I think this was all before Panharmonicon. And so the deck does a lot. Like Brea probably does too much in being able to like kill a creature, gain you life, and deal direct damage. Along with giving you a couple bodies. Like the card is really powerful.
Yeah. It's always been brutal. It does a lot, especially it being a commander. The fact that if it dies, being able to get all, the Thopters and all that stuff, it comes back in with ammunition right away. And when you build a deck around it, it's a brutal deck.
I just remember the couple times when you are testing out Fanax and you're milling my Brea deck and I get the Sphinx out both times. It was up at Lutzen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like, well, I'm going to reanimate the Sphinx, put you to 10, attack 4.
Yep.
And you're at 6. And it's like turn 4.
Yeah.
It's like, you're helping me. Right?
But I got to test the deck out. It has to win against every deck, and I couldn't touch it. It was brutal.
But yeah, I liked that build that I did because it wasn't infinite. Infinite's kind of a thing that it does.
Yeah.
So
all right, my last one, my favorite. Well, I actually wouldn't say my favorite, but this style I like. Sometimes it's the sit back and not have to attack or decide any of that stuff. You just play your game and you kill everybody by sitting back. And that's Nekasar. All I have to do is sit back and have people draw, and that's how I win the game. I don't play that deck very often, maybe once a year, once every year and a half, but it's still a fun deck. I'll tweak that one, every 2 years. I'll put new cards in that fit into it, but it's just all you do is you make it so people can't attack you and then play stuff that deals with damage when people draw, and then you make everybody draw a shit ton of cards and you win the game. Or you do Lowery's favorite and you give him Infect and then make everybody draw more than 10 cards.
Not my favorite.
So there's 2 of those in that deck where you give Nekasar.
I would love your Nekasar deck if it didn't have poison in it. Because I do think it's a really fun deck unless you have poison.
Not a lot of times I kill people with the poison because I only have 2.
That's the only way you win with that game.
Oh, whatever. No, that deck does damage with everybody drawing, and I don't know. It's a fun sitting back and drawing cards. It's what people like to do. You draw cards, and everybody's drawing cards. You're just getting hit when you do it. So, and there is no
I like it.
Big damage or anything. So it's pretty straightforward. All right. What's your last one? I'm hoping there's this one on here. I feel like it's your undefeated deck that I really think is good and that people don't. I want to hear what yours is first. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. You might regret saying
you're
this.
Deciding between 2.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to go with the one that I know that you played a bunch against. The other one, I don't know if you got to play a bunch. I'm going to go with Feather.
Oh, dang it. I was hoping a different one.
What were you going to say?
I really like your Nikia deck.
Oh, yeah.
That deck, it does what Lowery likes to do from a kid, like I said earlier, playing creatures, and all you have is creatures, and you haven't lost with that deck every time I've played you because people are like, that's fine. It's not going to kill us. And then you go off and it's like, big creature, big creature, big creature. You guys are dead. And it's like, fuck. You get him out and then we can't stop it. It's like the next turn, if we let you untap, the game's pretty much over at that point.
And I think you're right. The problem with it is it has like the Anamar issue, but me being older, like it's very linear.
Yeah.
Like there's only one way to win with it, and that's through
playing creatures.
Yeah,
I guess that's true. So, that's very true. I don't think I've ever seen you lose with that deck, and I've been on the attack when you play that deck, going towards you every time, but I can never get it's kind of how you feel a lot of times when you're like, guys, we need to kill this, and everybody's just like, don't worry about it, and then it ends up winning the game. Yeah, this is how Nikki is from the beginning. I'm always like, hey, he's getting him out next turn. We need to stop this. And it doesn't matter because once you get him out and untap, we're dead. But I get it.
So I'm pretty sure that Feather is undefeated too.
It might be too.
This one, it's
pretty brutal. I might have seen it lose
really
once.
Good card,
but it's so brutal.
It's almost too interactive where it doesn't let anybody else play. So it is on that. I think it's on that level of like I pull it out when I'm losing a lot. Yeah, baby. And
now I'm winning because I pulled it out. If I'm not having
a good weekend, I'm gonna play Feather.
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna at least. I know it's kind of frustrating, but it is. I don't normally have those kind of decks where it's just like, okay, I need my go-to deck.
Wait,
I need to pull out the big gun.
Isn't this the deck that you played that Jeremy got really pissed?
Yep.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's like, okay, I'm going to kill that. You're like, well, I'm going to cast this and it's going to do this and this. And he's like, of course you are. Of course you are. What else are you going to do? Of course you are. Because he had like the win in the bag, it looked like. And then Feather just did its thing. And it was just like, because we were all dead at that point, except for you and Jeremy. And he was just like, okay, I just need to kill Lowery. And then Feather went off and... That was my favorite blow up moment of Jeremy. Just, yep. Oh, of course you are. What else are you going to do? I'm going to Feather.
We took a break after that, I'm pretty sure. Because I mean, like I was picked on that whole weekend. Mm-hmm. That was the only game I won, I think.
Yeah.
I pulled it out, did its thing, frustrated Jeremy, and then continued to lose after that.
Yeah, so. It's a crazy deck because it's so hard to interact. Like you think that you have it dead, and then you're just like, well, no. That's what's cool is that you're always able to do something.
Yeah, and that was against. If I'm remembering right, you were playing your Croxa deck, and everybody was discarding their hand.
Yes, you're right.
And I was playing my cards and scrying through and just taking damage, and then they'd come back to my hand.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't lose my hand. So it was like worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I'd still have to discard the cards that I drew if I drew them or whatever, but always able to put some more pressure on there. So it was, it's flexible in that. Like it has like a burn plan attached to it. It has that aggro plan. It has a little bit of go wide. So it's very flexible. Really cheap, doing a lot of things, drawing a bunch of cards. So it's just, I've been able to find the play style that I really like. And when there's a commander that allows me to do it, I enjoy doing it.
And it's in red and white.
Yeah, which are generally awful.
Yeah.
But I mean, even combat tricks are generally awful. So this is letting you do two things that are generally not very good.
There's some cool
do it very well.
Interactions that you have with him too, with her as well. Like doing the you've won some cool ways with that one. I'll admit. Do you think that's your number one, or was that? What was your other one? Let's do the other. We're gonna do really quick on air production thing. I think we're moving the reserve list stuff to next week. Because we're over an hour right now. If we have to go through 20 cards, that's going to be a 2-hour long episode.
Okay. I'm all right with that.
But what were your...
We're waxing nostalgia about Commanders, so it's probably going pretty long.
Yeah. Well, what are your honorable mentions? Or
are we just going to go into it?
Yeah.
Like if this is just going to be it, let's just enjoy the Commanders we want to talk about.
Yeah.
No, let's go with your number 6.
Okay. This one I would have in my top 5, except it's a partner. So it can go with a bunch of different things, and especially with the new partner stuff that's going to be coming out. But it's the Akiri Line Slinger. I really love playing that deck, and I don't care what partner it's partnered with. Really, right now I have the one that the black and blue one that when you can play an artifact from your graveyard. Yeah, so I was kind of like, oh, I can use that because I have tons of artifacts. People blow them up. I can bring them back from the graveyard. It's probably got to change to make it a little better, but she does fine. Probably 1 out of 10% of the time I'll play the other commander, but most of the time I play Akiri, and it's just a pretty brutal deck because you're just playing artifacts, which we like to do, playing mono rocks, and she just gets bigger and bigger, put equipment on her, and you're Voltroning and killing somebody. So it's a different style. It's not one that I typically play, and I think that's why I like it, because I have to be on the attack. I have to kill somebody with commander damage. It isn't go wide. It's my Voltron, keep her protected, and just rip through and kill a person.
Yeah, Voltron's like a really fun style of card or like gameplay. It just isn't as good
at
in
ending
today's commander.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not good when you can kill one person and then they sit. I hate that, where they're sitting for an hour. If you can't kill the next two, it kind of sucks for that person. But she's just fun. It's a fun.
She can just end games though too. So it's just like boom.
The fact that you're attacking with her and she has vigilance and the first strike is really nice that that's built in. And then it's value engine. You're casting things that help you as your turn progresses, but that also pumps her up just naturally. You're like, all right, I cast this artifact, or I cast this card that creates token artifacts when I play artifact spells. And then, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, but at the same time, my board is getting better. So then people have to decide what's worse, killing her. A lot of times she isn't the target. Normally it's the things that are generating more things to get her bigger, or what the target, what gets targeted. So she ends up, I normally don't have to cast her that much. And even if she does get killed, she's not that expensive to come out. She's 2. So 2.
Can we get that as a button?
2. All right.
We got one as, hey, number 2.
Yeah.
And then the other is 2.
I'll get that one. 2 button. All right. So yeah, that's a fun deck to play. And that is actually one I built after we recorded our first podcast. And then I went up to Banff with Trombley, Jeremy, and Ryan Grant to go snowboarding. And that's where I played it for the first time. And then our podcast deleted. And so we had to re-record the first one. So technically, our first podcast we recorded that got deleted, I had built this deck after that. And then we recorded again. So technically, this is part of that. So, all right, what's your number 6?
So it's going to be Oros. Don't remember his. Okay, so he is the black, white, and red Elder Dragon from Planar Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a 6/6 flyer. And whenever it deals damage to an opponent, you can pay a white and 2 colorless, and then it deals 3 damage to each non-white creature. And I just loved putting Death Touch and Lifelink on that and just killing everybody's creatures and gaining a ton of life. Clearly, Basilisk Collar.
What?
Yeah, and just like going tutoring for that, putting the two together and just like closing out games.
I haven't seen you play this one in a long time.
Oh, it's been taken apart since before the podcast started. So
I was gonna say I remember it, but I don't remember it.
This got morphed into, because the theme of Oros was each creature that dealt damage had an effect that would happen.
Yep.
So like technically Lifelink was kind of a filler thing in there, but like when this creature deals damage, destroying an enchantment. So it was like dealing damage along with controlling the board or dealing more damage. And that just turned into Saskia, the 4-color red, white, black, green. And then that's where I would, you target the player, which was always you. And then any damage that any of my creatures dealt to any opponent, it would go to that other opponent as well. So, like you get double lifelink, double poison, or whatever you wanted to do off of that. So Oros turned into Saskia, and I would put them both as the same. I like both of those decks quite a bit. But I'm going to go with Oros because that's where I did most of the legwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this was probably one of them where like people just knew they were done.
Yeah, once you wipe the board and you had a 6/6 flyer that pretty much was
able to control like the board as, you know, it depended on what people were playing, but it it kind of just like shut down games.
Yeah. I have one more that's new that isn't necessarily illegal, but
what?
It's my Brewvac deck. Only reason because I don't own Brewvac because they aren't freaking Jumpstart they aren't printing as much, so he's way too expensive right now. So technically he shouldn't be my deck because I don't own him yet, but that's a fun mill deck to play. Like, it doesn't win a lot. I think I've only won less than a handful of times, but even the games that I lose, everybody doesn't have a library. Like, it's down to it did his job. I just milled 300, 400 cards, and you know, I'm close to winning the game at just one card away or one turn away.
Well, I think the nice thing about Brewvac is like he gets everybody going, oh shit.
Yeah.
And like
right away.
That panic of like, okay, we got to do something.
Because
control this a little bit.
There's a thing about, and I've mentioned it before, especially newer players that get pissed when they flip the top card and it goes into their graveyard. Like, even if it's like 20 cards down, they're like, oh, I can't believe, and there's this revenge factor of like, I'm killing you because you put that in my, it's like, you were never going to see that card anyways. That was 20 cards deep. But for some reason in their head, they're like, it's in my graveyard, it doesn't come back. But it's like, you have recursion. You should have recursion. Go pick it up. But newer players, especially, I'll say too, newer players don't do that as much. You know, that's something that I've learned to do better. I'm not saying I'm a new player, but even as a player that's been playing this since the 90s, that's something I've been adding in recently as of us talking about doing this on the podcast and stuff, is you do a very good job of that. And so people shouldn't be mad. A lot of times just have some recursion in your deck and you won't be so pissed. But also, you're not seeing those cards unless you're planning on drawing 40 cards. You shouldn't make it 20 turns deep. The game should be over by the time you draw down to that.
And like, I can even use an example of what you're saying. Like, I'm building the blue-white Glen deck, and I have 3 pieces of recursion in there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a blue-white deck. That does not recur very much.
You're able to. Is it artifacts? What are you using for recursion with that?
Well, you got Sun Titan. That brings back all of that. And then there's the, I'm not super familiar with it, but it's the Dominaria bird 2/2 Tishar. But whenever you cast getting used to the card. But it's whenever you have an artifact or a legend come into play, bring a creature of converted CMC 3 or less from your graveyard into play. Yeah. And then I want to say that I'm playing Sword of Shadow and...
Oh, okay. So you're bringing one of the swords to bring back stuff.
Yeah, I want to say that's in there right now.
Yeah. So... it just was funny because we've talked about it before when playing with other people that are newer that just get pissed when you mill them, like make them put a card in their graveyard from the top of the library, and it's just like, dude, or the other part of it was when people get mad when you make them draw like 15 cards and they have to discard, and it's like, come on, this is helping you. Don't get mad that you have to discard some things. You're making the best hand out of 15 cards.
Yes.
But anyways, funny.
So we are not going to get to reserve list specs this week.
Whoopsies.
Because we are at an hour 15 at this point?
I guess we should have known that when we talk about our favorite commanders that we're going to go nostalgic on it and just start talking about all the fun stuff we had. And
let's fit in the secret layer though?
Yes. I think that is a good idea. So this is fitting.
What?
Did I was looking over the button. Did you throw your headphones down or did they fall off because you were rocking out so hard?
I was rocking out pretty damn hard.
Rocking out with your cock out. That's awesome. I also looked over and you're like, I heard a noise and I see you putting your headphones back on. I was like, geez. Okay, so what happened today? We had Secret Lair, right? You want to go through this one or?
I don't have it pulled up.
Okay, Secret Lair. It's called Extra Life 2020. So it is a partial charity secret layer. Let me tell the cards out really quick. So we have Teferi's Protection foil in kind of an art. It looks like what Teferi's daughter was, or is it his daughter? Is that who it is? It's a little girl. I don't know.
I don't have.
Come on, Lore Time with Lowery.
I'm actually trying to find it.
She
was in the
Lore Time with Lowery. She was in what?
She had her own legendary card in the core set, either this year or last year. She was blue, white, colorless. Starts with an N. Don't know.
You're making me want to look.
Don't read that flavor text.
What's the flavor?
I don't know the name.
I've walked 100 worlds, but you are my universe.
Aww.
So these are all family-oriented cards, dealing with family, children, and all that stuff. So we have Teferi's Protection in foil.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I just pooped a little.
Amulet of Vigor in foil with like a little kid holding the amulet. Collected Company in foil where you have a Johnny, it looks like a little kid's giving him something. A little tiger kid thing.
Yeah.
And he's all like...
a Leonin cub.
Aww. And then we have Consecrated Sphinx in foil. I don't know what the family part of that one is. It looks like the Sphinx is on a nest and there's a bunch of people.
They're like taking care of it?
I think. Looks like it's decorating it, painting it. I don't know. No, that's his. It's a cool picture though. I like all of these are pretty sweet. I did a little quick running the numbers, and just by going off of non-foils of all these are going to be foil. You'd still be at a $90 price point for all of these, and they're selling this for $60. And then, like I was saying, $30 is going to Extra Life, benefiting Seattle Children's Hospital for each copy that they sell. So they've upped the price a little bit so that they can give part of it away. What do you think for these? Oh, and there's also playmats and stuff. But let's get into the cards first.
Yeah. I plan on buying this. I don't own a Collected Company.
I don't either, actually.
The art is really cool. It's, this is like, I'm sure the exact opposite reaction that the Walking Dead secret layer had on the community.
This probably was like down the line of secret layers and like pull it to the front, bring it up there. I will say I like all the art. The Teferi's Protection one, I like the original one. I like that art just a lot. That's just my personal preference. I think this one's cute. I think this one's the whole. Aww. But I really, super cute. I really dig the original Teferi's Protection, and also I edited that one with a proxy, and it's just a fun scene and everything with that one. But anyways, all these are pretty sweet with the foils and all that. So you're planning on getting are you getting one copy? Are you getting multiple copies of this?
I'm tempted for multiple.
You're donating to a charity.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm going to use an excuse.
Yeah,
to do, but
you remember when Grandpa used to do the yearly meetings with all of us cousins and talk about stocks and donating and stuff? I wish we were still doing that. We're like, hey, I gave X amount of dollars to
$30.
Extra Life benefiting Seattle Children's Hospital. I did that. I did $300 worth. Like, oh, that's really good. Minus the cards that I got, and I'm going to make a profit off of it. But there's some other things with this. I mean, they have the playmats available to purchase as well. Is that what that is?
Yeah,
for
that seems
$22. These are all going to be available November 6th through the 9th. So this is also a couple day thing. It isn't just one day. Did you see the uncut sheets that they're doing?
No. Oh, uncut sheet auction.
Yeah. So that they're going to eBay for a charity, and they have 20 uncut sheets between October 29th and November 7th.
German 5th edition rares.
Range from that.
Korea.
And then they have an extra spicy mystery booster convention edition sheet. So there's some interesting stuff that they're doing with all this. And then there's also a creator campaign where they're giving away a full art collected company. This is cool. This is a huge secret layer list of what they're doing for this, which is kind of sweet. After doing,
playmat wise, I'm not going to buy them.
No,
and Guy said that the playmats went really quick last year for one of them or something.
Oh, now I see the Consecrated Sphinx in a zoomed in picture, and it is the kids are like painting the Sphinx.
Oh, I guess. Oh yeah, having fun. But the Amulet of Vigor,
it looks pretty dope.
Playmat looks real good.
Yeah. So overall, you think this is their best secret layer that they've done?
Yeah.
Because of the. I will say, I think they hiked up the price more than they did on all the others, which is fine. But it's like, they're not giving as much away as that they could. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have kept it at like $40, $50 and still given $30 to charity and kept the 20. But instead they're like, we're going to up it up to 60 and make you guys donate a little bit more.
I mean, they're at least really good cards.
Yes.
So, and I'm not going to, I'll be getting at least one. So
yeah, the non-foil versions of Teferi's Protection and Consecrated Sphinx are $30 a piece. So you throw in alt art with foil, those will be up a little bit. And then Collected Company and Amulet are non-foils are 10 to 15. So it's pretty good value.
Stealing a joke from number 2. This product will be shipped out in the year 2022.
Yeah, the funny thing is he said that and you're like, I might not be. You're like, I might not be interested anymore. He's like, it was a joke, Lowery. You're like, I'm back in.
I totally bought it though.
Yeah. That was pretty good. That goes on sale in a couple weeks here. Awesome that they're giving out to a charity. Awesome that they're awesome cards. I definitely will be picking up a few of these, especially Teferi's Protection. I know I like the other art, but having more of these Teferi's, it just doesn't seem they got to be printing that more. Do you think that's going to make it in this Commander Legends? We should be actually getting previews this week.
I don't know. I don't know what they plan on doing. They're going to have 70 new Legends. That's all I know, right?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, is that it? I think that's everything besides us not doing the reserve list.
That is not everything. Well, we're set for next week.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it gives me another week to work on my Daryl deck. I got it.
Get that done.
I'm still in the building process. I got all my red cards that I want in it.
Well,
it's gonna be sweet.
I'll have Glenn ready unless we go short on reserve list next week.
We're gonna have spoilers like crazy, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, we've changed up how we do spoilers.
Yeah, I know.
We talk about Legends, and then we talk about.
There's gonna be 70 Legends. How are we gonna?
3-hour CommanderSmiths special.
Yeah.
There's gonna be commons and uncommons that we're not gonna want to talk about. It'll be fine.
We'll see. But if you guys want to get in on the Commander Legends, CommanderSmiths Battle Box League, join the Discord or
that's way
become
too long
a patron.
Of a title.
Yeah. Well, the set name will just come in later, but we're going to continue doing it. The idea is that we'll probably try to, pick standard sets or cool sets like Commander Legends and do a league with it. So, and technically it's free for you as long as you're a patron. So you're not, it's not free.
Buy your own box.
Yes, that's a good point. Which you're going to buy anyways. We're going to do battle shots and then we get to use the cards. We're going to do this. We have a camera. I can see you. You can see me. We can see what cards we open. We're going to start doing video.
Video feed's going bad. Sorry.
What? I can't hear you. Do what you did right before the podcast. Just unplug your thing and then you just totally go haywire. I was like, oh shit, we're doing another phone fucking cast. All right, you guys can catch us next week. That's how I know.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you guys next week. That's how I do it. See ya.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya. I'm like, how do I get to that part again? I suck.
We've only done it 139 more times.